We have 14 News update on more than $70,000 worth of bourbon that was reportedly stolen earlier this week.
Owensboro police say they have ended their investigation and the bourbon has now been returned. Our Brady Williams caught up with a local bourbon expert as the news broke this afternoon.
So years ago, there was the Pappy Heist, where bourbon was stolen over the course of several years. That became the subject of a Netflix documentary. Tom Fischer was featured in that documentary and spotted similarities between that and this Owensboro case. Now we know that this instance was just a routing issue with no criminal charges, but it's still an opportunity to learn about the industry and just why a heist was a plausible explanation.
18 years ago, the BourbonBlog was started by Evansville resident Tom Fischer.
We've been following the growth of bourbon and the rise of whiskey since then.
2 years ago, he was in the Netflix series Heist about the Pappy Heist, which saw bourbon stolen and resold for years. When he heard Owensboro detectives had been told $70,000 worth of bourbon was reported stolen this week, it piqued his interest.
It didn't surprise me that someone might have stolen more bourbon.
He says that's because the industry has become very profitable in the last 10 years or so.
We have seen bourbon, the value of bourbon, older bourbon, rise exponentially.
He says niche items like vintage bourbons can be sold for as much as $300 to more savvy distributors.
What happens on the secondary market is that it goes anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a bottle in some states.
He says older stocks are also in low supply.
You have a 53-gallon barrel. It's going to evaporate a lot over years, so when you get 10, 15 years upwards, you're not getting much left in the barrel.
Meanwhile, demand has been on the rise.
The bourbon boom happened 10, 15 years ago. People got excited about it. They started demanding older bourbons because of it's a smooth oak taste.
Low supply, high demand, growing prices, and go figure, people think Sazerac had $70,000 worth of barrels stolen, but actually it's a routing issue.
They took a little detour to the wrong place. It turns out that what we thought, what was said, was the stolen bourbon has been recovered.
A close call to be sure.
I want to make sure bourbon's in the right hands.
No charges are being pressed and it's all back in the right hands, but Fischer says it's always good to shed more light on an industry he's dedicated part of his life to.
Seems to be case solved. It seems to be.
Yeah, it was exciting while it lasted.
It was, yeah, for the last 12 hours, it's been really exciting for me.
So raise a glass if you like, and know, at least in this case, it's probably not stolen.
We haven't received any word on why they believe the bourbon might have been stolen in the first place, but the case is officially closed. For more on bourbon, Tom's blog will be linked on our website, 14news.com.